What's going on, guys? My name is Triforce Addiction. Welcome back to another COD mode video. So today, the draw, or I guess the 4 legendary Halloween series draw, finally came out. Thank God. We're already near the end of the season, and I feel like we've been waiting for this for a very long time. But as I promised, I picked up every item from that particular draw. So the first legendary I do want to discuss, and this is one that I know a lot of people have had their eyes on, is the Maddox Squash Demon. I would say out of all the 4 legendaries that are being presented within this Halloween series draw, the Maddox Squash Demon obviously is the one that was really looked at the most. A lot of people had a massive interest on this one specifically. As for the other ones, I don't think a lot of people cared. The Court Jester has been on the For You section many times, as well as the Pumpkinhead AK-47. And as for the Holger Jacked Lantern, I mean, that also hasn't really received a lot of interest, at least based on what I've seen. But yeah, I think that Maddox was probably going to be the best pick out of the entire draw. So as of right now, the Maddox Squash Demon is currently the 2nd legendary skin for the Maddox. It's kind of soon to have like 2 legendaries for a weapon that came out fairly recently. But yes, here we are now with the newest Squash Demon. And I mean, I do have to say, it does live up to the hype. And it's a far more improvement compared to the original legendary skin, the one from like last Christmas. It's got a lot of great features. I would say the only thing that it probably doesn't have over the Avalanche, I think that's what it's called, the Maddox Avalanche Blaster, whatever it's called. I would say that the Iron Sight is not as good. It's still pretty useful either way, but it's not as good as the first legendary skin. But as for all the other effects, I would say it's a far better improvement. I don't know if it's just me, but the last legendary didn't really have a lot going on with it. The only thing was just those little snow effects around the gun, and that's basically it. But this one does have a lot more vibrant colors. It's animated all over the gun, and whenever you do get a kill, the little demon on each side of the weapon does flare up. And, it's common for most legendaries to have a type of thing where, whenever you get a kill, like the effects flare up a bit. But this one is by far a lot more noticeable. One thing I was hoping, though, is that the sound effect would have been a little better, given that this is kind of like some weird Halloween technological type of skin. But yeah, it's not really as good as, I guess, the Avalanche one, but it's still good nonetheless. But this does introduce a new feature for, I guess, legendary skins. So when it comes to the inspects, usually you don't really hear any sounds or have any effects with, inspects for legendary skins, unless maybe it's a legacy or a mythic skin. But this time around, they added some sound effects whenever you do inspect, and this also applies to the Holger. Unfortunately, they didn't retroactively add this for the AK-47 or the M4 Court Jester. But going back to the shooting sound, that's something I do want to discuss, because I did say that the Avalanche one's a little bit better, and if you do have that one unsuppressed, it kind of sounds like a snowboard, or like one of those little snow vehicles that rev up whenever you're trying to move. That's basically it fits with the theme of that skin. But for this one, yeah, it just feels just like the sound is slightly modified, and that's basically it. But getting this actually wasn't really that expensive. If anything, the entire Halloween series draw was more or less very surprisingly generous. My friend, the fake Parker YT, ended up getting this thing within the first 10 pulls. And yeah, I don't think he had to pay a cent. Well, actually, yeah, he did have to, because he didn't have the Court Jester or the Pumpkin head, so yeah, you kind of had to pay for the full thing. But for me, I actually had the Court Jester ahead of time, so yeah, I never had the Pumpkin head, but I knew at some point the game was going to kind of force me to get it at some point. But yeah, he ended up getting it pretty early, and I hear a lot of people have been getting this one very early within those 75 pulls. In fact, I had some pretty similar luck too when it came to the last skin that I was getting, which was the Holger. I ended up getting that within my first 10 spins of that milestone. So yeah, this draw has been surprisingly generous. I was expecting probably one of the most merciless business practices in the world, but yeah, it seems to have shown a lot of players some mercy. More than I would say with regular draws. So now to talk about the final thing I do like about this skin as well, is the fact that just like the Avalanche one, it is very fast when it comes to its death effect. It doesn't overstay its welcome, so it doesn't get in your way that often. So yeah, I've been having that issue this entire season where just legendary skins have just been getting in my way when it comes to the death effects. But this one, I'm glad to say, is very brief. But yeah, overall, the Maddox Squash Demon was pretty cool. I mean, the name doesn't really kind of like fit based on how like this is more of like a technological spooky skin. But yeah, I mean, it's still great nonetheless. Honestly, I'm happy that a lot of people are getting this early. I know the first Maddox Legendary wasn't really that great, and that's probably why not a lot of people picked it up, but this is one that's definitely worth picking up. But anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like, make sure to subscribe for some more COD mobile content. I'll see you guys next time.